Okay, guys. I had somebody help me there on the back, so I was muted. Let me start again. My name is Rick Ginn with Rick Ginn, and I'm here to talk to you about how to get started in wholesaling. I'm sorry I had the mute button down. Zach was helping me out with stuff. So if you are new to wholesaling or you just say, hey, what's this thing all about? What's going on? How do I get started? This show is for you today. I'm going to talk about how to get started in wholesaling. And specifically, I'm going to break down actionable steps that you can take so you can get started today, even if you've never done a wholesaling deal. And I'm going to break it down in the 3 different functionalities of wholesaling. And there is no reason after this live stream, at least you have the information, but it is your choice if you want to take action on it. So we're going to go through that in the stream today. If you have a question or a comment, put it in the comment section. That is the best place to get it answered. And if you want to do a one-on-one, I'm going to go ahead and kind of find a way to pin this up here. I'm going to put the link in here. And let's see. It'll be under Rick Ginn. Let me pin this to the top. Nope. Don't want to block myself. Look under Rick Ginn and you can see a link to there if you want to jump on a one-on-one mastermind. You don't have to show a video of yourself. That is not a requirement. Honestly, I could care less if you do it or not. And if you have a deal you want to work on, if you have a question or, hey, Rick, what can I do to get started in my wholesaling business? I would love to help you out. So click that link. If you want to take advantage of it, use the comment section. Make sure you introduce yourself. Guys, my name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling for 20 years, and I love this business. And I've always loved it. I've never left it. And so many people come and go out of wholesaling, and I'm here to tell you, in my opinion, wholesaling is the greatest wealth building technique with the least amount of risk available in the United States today. I'm somewhat biased, but I've been doing this a long time and I love it. So if you want to learn how to get started in wholesaling, let's roll into it. You guys have the link under Rick Ginn. If you want to do the one-on-one mastermind, it's a first come, first serve. And I will answer questions and I will do lives as long as I have people that are willing to talk to me, and use the comment section with that. So guys, as usual, sorry about the volume thing again. If you like this information, make sure you smash that like button. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because that's how you get access to videos that I don't post on any other channel. And my goal in this show on the Rick Ginn YouTube channel is to keep this as real and authentic as humanly possible. And what I like about this, guys, if you want to do the one-on-ones, this is the place to do it, because I'm so busy when we do these things Wednesday through Friday. It's hard to get a hold of everyone. So this is one of the reasons why I do the YouTube channel on Monday. So I know you guys maybe had a long day, maybe you had a great day. I had a good day today. Got out, enjoyed Mother Nature, did some work early this morning, did some work late this afternoon, and I'm here with you guys. So it doesn't get any better than that. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's see here. So how do we get started in wholesaling? So as I told you, there's 3 basic facets to wholesaling, and I'm going to break them down for you. And I don't want to confuse these with the 3 different departments of wholesaling, which is basically going to be marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions. You guys kind of already know that. It's kind of common sense. So me going over that with you. So what we're going to do in a more granular level today, we're going to break it down and just chop these pieces up so you understand how you can get started in wholesaling. So if you know there's 3 steps to wholesaling, you guys like purple today, I feel like purple. Maybe it's like a purple rain moment. Now I'm showing my age by making comments like that, aren't I? The first thing you gotta do is find a deal. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is where you have to put all your energy in the beginning, because the reality is if you can't find a good wholesale deal, you don't have to worry about the rest. It's just the truth. And so many people overgloss this, or they think, well, I'll just wait till someone gives me a deal. No. Scratch that. You have to go out and find a deal. So for you to find a deal, Rick, how do I break that down? And here's what you have to do. You have to select which list you're going to attack, meaning you got to get a list of people that potentially will sell their house to you for a deeply discounted price. And then you got to pick a marketing channel to deliver your message to these people. You cannot start wholesaling unless you get these two things locked down first. End of story. I'm going to go a little bit deeper in this presentation and we'll show you how to do it. So to find a deal, you've got to have a list and you got to pick a marketing channel. Step 2, you've got to lock up the deal. Okay, Rick, what does that mean? So in wholesaling, we have to qualify people. And what do I mean by qualifying? People have to meet certain parameters for us to buy the house. Now, you already know the true definition of wholesaling is buying something at a deep discount and reselling the contract. And that's kind of a broad definition term, and I get it. So now you have to understand if you're going to lock up the deal, then you have to qualify. The reality is if you talk to 100 people, probably 90 to 95 of them will be disqualified. What do I mean by that? Most of them need realtors. That's all I mean by that. They need nice, pretty realtors to sell their price for a high price, and there's not a lot wrong with the house, and they need a realtor to walk them through that entire transaction. And I'm here to tell you, you don't want those people. So how do we avoid those types of people? Because they're going to be on every list you do. Number one, we have to do qualifying questions. And so if you're just starting out and you're brand new to this, this is what you have to understand. We at freewholesaling.com, and by the way, if I didn't put it up there, I'm going to put it up there right now here for you. If you are new to this, I'm going to scroll it on the bottom so it's real clear. If you guys want access to our free wholesaling course, it's 100% free. We're never going to charge you anything on it. It's scrolling on the bottom. Go over to freewholesaling.com and you can get access to it. And we teach everything I'm teaching you today in a much more detailed scope, and there's no cost to you. Here's what you do have to do. You have to take an incredible amount of massive action. I can't make you do it. So my job today is inspire you and give you the vision so you can get started in wholesaling. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go through a qualification. And what we do is you're going to see the letters on there, MCTP. Now it's an acronym. Why? Because acronyms simplify things so you don't get screwed up. So most people go out and most gurus are going to give you a script. And the script's going to be long, it's going to be complicated, and you're not going to memorize it, and you're going to struggle with it. So if you guys have ever gotten a sales call, especially on your cell phone in the middle of the day, you can tell who's on a script and who's not. Your goal and what we teach you here at freewholesaling.com is to teach you how not to sound like you're on a script. How do we do that? Acronyms. They're simple. They worked in grade school. They work still today as adults. Why? Because they're simple. MCTP. So the first one we teach you in there, and I'm jumping around based on order of importance, is condition. The C stands for condition. That simply means, what is the condition of the property? That's simply how you ask the seller, and what you're trying to find out if there's any issues with the property. Does it need work? Is the roof bad? Does the house need repairs? And the seller will tell you this information, and that's part of it. So the main thing you have to understand is the condition of the property. Now, in freewholesaling.com, we go through the whole MCTP, motivation, condition, timeline, and price. So the condition is the main one. Usually a house that's in disrepair that needs help, they're typically not going to qualify with your regular realtor, and that's why condition's so imperative. Remember, I'm giving you the core of how to lock up a deal, and usually the one similar thing on all great wholesale deals is the house needed some sort of work, okay? And it's what we call kind of like a motivated house. So once we lock up the deal and we find out, hey, it's got poor condition, you find out they want to move quickly, you find out they want a discounted price, and we go through everything, we know what we have, what's called a motivated seller. And once you have a motivated seller, guys, it's phenomenal. Now, remember, here's the difference is if you go on like with a realtor, or you go on MLS, or you go on like Zillow, most of those people want the highest price. In all actuality, they typically want above market price. Those typically are not your sellers. Where you find opportunity, especially as a new wholesaler, is when a property has some sort of condition where it's distressed or there is massive deferred repairs, roof, foundation, windows, boarded up windows, stuff like that. Why? Because most realtors can't sell it through traditional financing. And number two is they want to get rid of the property because usually they have some sort of financial need. That's why the property wound up in that condition. So if you understand the qualifications for locking up a deal, you move on to step number three. And step number three is very, very straightforward. Selling your deal. So we've located the property. We've went through our list and our marketing channel. We locked it up. We locked up a deal. How do we do that? We qualified it, condition being the most important part. And now we're selling the deal. Now, remember, we are selling the contract. We are not selling the property. You've got to understand the difference. Realtors sell properties. We sell contracts. You can't do it the other way around. If you're going to try to sell a property, you have to go get a real estate license. And I don't teach that course. And honestly, I have no interest in teaching that. If you want to be a licensed realtor, go be a licensed realtor. We don't do that here. So remember, it's selling your deal. You're going to sell it basically on the assignment of a contract, and you are going to sell it to what we call a cash buyer. Now, there's basically two types of cash buyers, guys. That's it. There's only two, in my opinion. There might be more, but I'm simplifying this for you. So there's going to be the flipping cash buyer, and this is the person that you're typically going to see on your A&E shows. And they're the ones that go, I'm going to buy this property from a wholesaler, and I'm going to get a great deal on it. I'm going to fix it up, and I'm selling the market, and I'm going to hit a home run. I love these buyers because they have visions of gold in their head, and 9 times out of 10, they have no idea how much money they're making. They have an estimate, but you got to understand, they are not spending their time out hunting for great deals like you and me are. As a matter of fact, they'd rather pay us than them do it because they have to spend their time on hiring a contractor, hiring a crew, and keeping them on budget, on time, and getting stuff done and making sure there's a profit at the end. Because here's the reality. I don't flip homes. You know why? Because in the end, you never know how much you're going to make. You can actually lose money. People do it all the time. Sometimes there are major, major issues with the property. You don't even know until you start repairing it. And for that reason, that's why I wholesale. I love wholesaling. It's fast. I don't have to deal with contractors. I'm in, I'm out. And it is my favorite way to do deals. But if you decide to do it, you want to do fix and flip, which I did for 2 years. And honestly, guys, I missed wholesaling so much. I never stopped wholesaling, but I was making more money wholesaling. And I found fix and flip actually to be a huge distraction of what I was doing. So the other one is a rental or renter type of property, and that's going to be your landlord. And these are people that are simply out looking for rental properties that create cash flow for them. And a lot of times there's doctors, there's lawyers, but they're regular people, and they go out and buy properties of what they think is a good fit, and they want to rent it out so they get the monthly cash flow, and then they get the long-term appreciation of the property. And then they get the tax benefit of depreciating the property and lowering their tax bill. And these two types of cash buyers are the ones we primarily focus. Now, when I'm selling to a fix and flip guy or gal, it's completely different than a landlord. The landlords will typically pay me more and give me less headache. The fix and flips are a little bit more challenging. And if someone buys a lot of fix and flips, I typically avoid them because they want such a deep discount. I don't give my houses away. I give great deals away, but I don't give them away. And just keep those in mind when you're doing. But those are basically the two. Now, how do I get started wholesaling? Well, Rick, that sounds like a great theory. And guys, you know, I hate teaching from theory because theory is just theory. And I sucked in school on like teaching out of textbooks and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's not important, but the more that you can apply what you learn and physically go through the actions, the better you'll retain the information, the much more you'll learn, and the more you're going to prosper in whatever field you do. So there's no exceptions to wholesaling on that. So let's go back to finding a deal, because I told you all the effort, everything you want to do is always going to be in finding the deal. So there's 3 main lists for beginners starting out in wholesaling. I'm telling you, there is 3 main lists. Let me get this scrolling off the bottom because it's driving me nuts. You guys know where to go free wholesaling. You do now. 3 main lists for beginners. And what do I mean by lists? These are lists that we are going to collect of what I call them prospects. So a prospect, pretend you're hunting for gold. You have to go somewhere and prospect. So you have to pick an area out and I go, I think there's gold in this section, or somebody told you, or you have inside information and you pick an area. Same thing in wholesaling. You've got to find a group of people that are going to have the highest probability to give you a wholesaling deal. How do I do that? Let's break it down and let's get like very, very specific. The first type of list you want to do is driving for dollars and reverse driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is exactly what it says. I'm going to save you guys $3,000 on a course that they're all over the internet. Driving for dollars has been around forever. You just get in your car, you get on your bike, you get on your running shoes, and you go find ugly houses. That's it. Blue tarps, high grass, mold covering it, boarded up windows, stuff like that. Once you do that, record the address. You can use an app. We provide a service for that. Or you just write it down on a yellow pen and pad and paper. It's really not complicated. And then you're going to go back. You're going to get as many as humanly possible. The more, the better. You write them down. You cross-reference to the property appraiser's address. You get the seller's information. Then you go over to truepeoplesearch.com and you get their phone number. So I'm going to leave you with that because we're going to keep working through it. The reverse driving for dollars is basically once you have this list, you can leave a sticky note on your door. It says, I have a quick question about your house, your name and the phone number. And if you put 100 sticky notes on those types of doors, just like we talked about, probably 5 or 10 will call you. And when they do, you just go through the normal qualification process, MCTP, and find out if you can get a deal done. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is what we do to get deals. This is what you needed to do. And this is what I did 20 years ago. It has not changed. So many coaches and gurus and mentors try to make everything so super sexy. I have this new software. Guys, go get the deals. Go get them. They're not going to pull up on your computer like you think they are. You've got to go get them. That's the first one. I love driving for dollars because you have a very narrow focus and you can go really deep. And honestly, problem ugly houses are that way for a reason. Remember, real estate is nothing more than a symptom of humans having issues, okay? Financial, emotional, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. If they got a car that's run down, it's because they ran out of money, they lost their job. The same thing happens with the house. You have to understand that. So that's list number one. And honestly, I think it's probably one of the most valuable lists, especially if you're just starting out. Why? Because it gives you the highest probability. And that's the most important part. Number two, government list. Me and Zach talk about this till our eyes pop out of our head. Why? Government lists are created at usually your county courthouse for the most part. And these lists are going to be people that are going to have challenges in their life. Let me give you an example. If a house is in some sort of pre-foreclosure, it means they stop making their mortgage payment. Odds are they got financial issues. They're most likely going to need to sell the house, and they usually want to sell it quick. Where there's smoke, there's fire, guys. You don't have to go far from it. So if you go over to freewholesaling.com, I break down the whole thing. You have evictions, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. You've got divorce lists. You have probates. You have outside liens that you can get from the courthouse. Guys, there's so many, like I can't even name them all. The government lists are the key. You know why? Number one, they're free. You're going to get some resistance in getting this list. You have to overcome them with persistence. But don't let the word free scare you, because all the paid lists, everybody you pay, they all go to these government lists to get the information. So if you can just cut in the line and get it first, speed kills in this business, and you need to just jump all over these lists. Code violations, guys, water shutoff, fire damage properties. It's endless. Go to freewholesaling.com. I'll teach you head to toe on all these lists. Don't be scared because they're free, because they're coming from your taxpayer dollars. They're the most legit list you give, and they're proven. Over the last 50 years, they are 100% proven. They work. I guarantee they work. The question is, will you work the leads? That's the real question. Now, We talked about free leads. Now we're talking about paid leads. Okay. And if you guys get a chance, you can check out. We work with PropStream. You can go with Batch. I would use one of the two big companies. Why? Because they're proven. They're proven. And guys, when you go to a paid list, you got to go to a reputable list where you can call customer service, where you can trust with your credit card. And here's the cool: with most of the paid lists, it's just under like $100 a month. You get a 1 week free trial period, 7 days. You can test it out to see if it works. And from that list, you get 10,000 leads a month. Now, back in the day when I started, I paid a lot more money than that. On average, I would pay up to 15 to 20 cents per lead. You guys multiply that by 10,000, you see why this is such a bargain. I'm telling you, hands down, that it works really well. Go to Free Wholesaling. We go into detail. You don't have to do paid lists, but if you want to boost it up to that next notch, and maybe after you get your first deal or two, paid lists are definitely the way to go, because $99 is a lot cheaper than a full-time or even a part-time employee, in my opinion. So the 3 marketing channels. So we talked about channels. So this is the vehicle you're going to use to deliver your message to your motivated sellers on your prospecting list. And it's real simple. And here's the cool part. I'm going to do them in order of importance. I think you should do them. So remember, I don't care how much money you get started in this. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. There's nothing more fulfilling to me when someone has no money, that they reach out and get a deal done with no money, when every guru in America tells them you can't do this unless you have money. But I did it when I had no money, but now you have to pay me so I can show you how to do it. And then you need marketing dollars. I'm telling you guys, don't buy into that crap, because it's honestly, some of the best people I've ever worked with in this business were broke. Why? Because failure was not an option for them, and they were completely committed, and they didn't try to buy their way through it. So many people buy leads and they don't work them because they're not motivated. Listen, when you're hungry, and you're hungry, that's it. So let's go through the main marketing channels. And remember, this is the method you're going to use to reach out to your sellers. So first and foremost, cold calling. Why? Is there more traffic in cold calling today? Yes, but cold calling's been around like ever since they invented the telephone. So the biggest catch in cold calling is you have to skip trace people. So you either have to use batch leads, or you can use True People Search. True People Search is good for 1 or 2, or if you're completely broke and you don't have any money, it is what it is. Just get through it and get it over with. It's not as accurate as batch, but it still works. And if you don't have any money, I'm not going to treat you like every real estate coach and say, come back to me in 6 months when you get it done. Let's put your butt to work for 6 months and show them that you have the will to get through this, because I rather work with that person than someone that just owes me 10 grand and just show me how to do it. Because here's the reality. If that person puts in 10 grand and you do it for free, you both have to go on the exact same journey. The question is, who's got more will to do it? I know where my bets are on. Cold calling, the time efficiency is unbelievable because you don't have to get in your car. It doesn't cost you any gas money. So past the skip tracing, it's pretty much free other than your time, and you only have to get the number once. So cold calling, you can touch so many people. Let me ask you, if you had to visit 500 people in person, or like door to door, or you had to call 500 people, which would be more efficient? You already know the answer to that. I'm not even going to answer that. The next one is SMS, which is basically a texting service. And until recently, well, no, we've been doing it a long time. Actually, since 2016. I never even knew this was possible. Now, I'm going to give you the pros and cons on it. The pros are, if you are a one-man or woman army in wholesaling, it is absolutely phenomenal. Like, you click one button, it delivers it. And with the advent of AI today, stuff like this, there's so much stuff there to make it work for you and customize it and basically trick all the opt-out services. I think we have the most wonderful platform for SMS, and I'm going to show it to you. I'll scroll on the bottom. If you want to check it out, go to freewholesaling.com. We have a one and done platform for you if you decide to do SMS, because if you're going to do it on any type of big scale, like 500 more plus, you got to use a service, guys. Otherwise, it's hard to do because there's so many moving parts to it. But I will tell you, it's extremely efficient. Now, remember, the goal in SMS is always to convert from a text to a phone. Don't try to take deals down on text. I know we're in a society where everybody texts more and more, but I'm here to tell you that the phone is everything. If you get them on a text, try to get them on the phone, because when you get them on the phone, you can talk to them, you can qualify them. It goes much smoother. Very rarely do you just take somebody down on a text message alone, and you have to understand that. So we have cold calling, SMS, and then the third one is going to be direct mail. I don't recommend you start out with direct mail, but if you go to freewholesaling.com, we teach you how to do it. Some of you have the budget for you. Some of you've done some deals, and that is going to be, it still works. And here's the pros and cons of direct mail. Number one, it's still legal. There's nothing illegal about sending a piece of direct mail. You can't get in trouble for it as long as you have an honest, ethical offer on your postcard. And I recommend postcards only because they're efficient and they're cheap. The downside is they cost. So it's going to cost you on average between 55 and 60 cents per postcard. So that can add up, but you got to look at it as like a sales machine before you. The biggest problem with direct mail is most people don't understand how it works. Direct mail is a minimum of a 3-month process. Anything less than that, you're wasting your time and money. So wait till you get at least $3,000 set aside before you commit to direct mail, or you're most likely going to fail doing it. That's why I put it down at number 3. I prefer you have a couple deals on your belt before you flip over to direct mail. But here's the really good news. I know every trick to direct mail because I've done it for 20 years and I've never stopped doing it. And I understand it better than almost anybody in the United States because I'm completely committed to doing it. And I know to a dollar. So my average return on direct mail is 4 to 5 times a return on my money. That means for every dollar I invest, I get $4 back. Now, if you had a machine that could do that, you would do it too. The reality is you got to learn how to talk to sellers. You got to know how to close people, and you have to understand the entire process. And once you do, then it goes like clockwork. So when you first start out direct mail, a lot of people's goal is just to try to break even, and then they try to go to 2 times their money. Then they get the 3 times, and then with a lot of experience, they can get the 4 to 5 times return. Guys, direct mail works. The only people who say direct mail doesn't work is the ones that didn't understand how to do it and they quit after 30 days. It is a long-term approach. So my theory always in wholesaling is I want to win the marathon. I'm going to let the sprinters go. And I've watched people run by me in wholesaling all my life for the last 20 years. And I'm telling you, they all quit. They all run out of gas. Marathon. Think marathon runner. You have to pace yourself. You have to keep going. Marathon runners never quit. Sprinters quit all the time. They quit, they stop, and they speed up. Look how fast I'm going. I don't care how fast you're going. Are you going to finish the race? And if you look at it like that, you'll do that. So these are the 3 mediums, marketing channels you want to start out when you want to get your first wholesale deal. Cold calling, SMS, then direct mail. And you've got to do them in that order. And if anyone tells you other, I promise you they're trying to sell you on a service. I wouldn't do it any other way. Now, a beautiful thing is when you get really, really busy, you can do a combination of all 3. But start with cold calling, SMS, and then tie in direct mail. Now, the really cool thing is direct mail is you can flip-flop between either one of those 2 if you want to add that to your campaign. So it's a real compliment. And then last but not least is you guys have to make a schedule and stick to it. You have to schedule, hey, I'm doing X amount of marketing this month. This is how I'm delivering it. And this is how I'm going to keep myself accountable. Because the reality is so many people are like, listen, I'm going to hire a coach to keep me accountable. Coaches don't keep you accountable. You keep yourself accountable, because if you can't be accountable to yourself, why would you think paying someone's going to be accountable? Like at the end of the day, you pay them. So if you succeed or not, they want you to succeed, but their life's not going to stop if you don't succeed. So the difference on accountability is when you take personal accountability for what you do. And the easiest way to do that is set up a plan and stick to it. So if you're committing to make 500 cold calls a day and you committed to that 5 days a week, you need to have 2,500 logged by the end of that week. And if you didn't, what's stopping you? And be truthful and honest with yourself. The more honest you are, the better you can get through this. Because If you can't be honest with yourself, why do you think a stranger is going to help you out with it? They might yell at you, motivate you, but at the end of the day, it's always you that has to do the work. So in wholesaling, remember, no matter how you do it, paid, free, whatever, you have to take the journey. Nobody skips the journey. There's no free ride in the journey. I've already paid my tax. I still pay it every day. And you have to too. If you think you're going to go through wholesaling and have no pain, you're probably better off not starting. It's just the truth. So I'm here to tell you the truth because I'm not a for hire coach. So I can tell you the unfiltered truth. And that's the important part of it. So now we are to our segments to answer questions. If you guys want to jump on the live, please, I'm going to put up that link one more time in case somebody missed it. And I just posted it right there. And just look under the Rick Ginn comments. I believe it's there. And that's it. I had a couple questions on here. What's up, guys? I see everybody here. Let me put Zach on there. I'm not Zach. I'm Dad, aka Dad. Let's see here. I got Sean there. I believe he's in Arizona and he has no deals yet. And you are on the right show to learn how to get started. So guys, you don't want to complicate this business. You just want to jump into it and get it done. So Olivia, quick question. Mobile homes on fire. That's a tough one because in reality, most mobile homes, they're not structured like a house. So usually if you have a significant fire in a mobile home, it's probably something to avoid. Honestly, if there's substantial fire and has gone through the roof and burned half the place down, it probably needs to get replaced. But once again, look at the severity of the fire and you can help make that determination. So, okay, one more question here. We'll jump on the lives. Guys, if you want to do the lives, jump on now. And if you get on now, I make sure I'll answer your questions. It says, I talked to someone who wants to sell, but he said before he gives me information, he wants my company information. I told him I work with someone and he wants his information too. So Mariana, here's what you do. Always introduce yourself, period. Hey, this is Marina. I'm a cash buyer. I buy houses in this area. And then qualify them. Because honestly, you can give all that information. If they're not qualified, you're literally wasting your time. And odds are if they want this information up front, either they don't trust you or they're probably looking for a special retail buyer. And it's okay if you make a mistake with it. But if they're going to be super difficult up front, heed the warning. And it's probably not going to be someone that you're going to get a great wholesaling deal. Now, that's my opinion, but I've been through a lot of phone calls my entire life, and you want to keep that one and understand it. So let's see here. John says, well, somebody's going to foreclosure. I assume you mean auction in less than that one day. Honestly, move on with your life because you'll have to involve a lawyer and somebody has to write a big fat check. And you can't really write a check on behalf of your client. And honestly, even if you're new or a beginner, it's probably not worth it. So, and by the way, guys, that's typical when someone's getting ready to lose their house to auction. Then they become highly motivated. But the problem is it's too late a lot of times. Now, if you have experience, you know how to work with lawyers, then you have a shot. But honestly, if an auction is within 7 days or less, you have a very small probability of making that work, especially if you're new to the business. Heck, guys, honestly, sometimes I have some within 30 days of auction and I still can't stop them. So it depends on how many motions have been filed, what state you're in. There's so many factors that depend on it. It can't just be answered in one question. So, okay, let's jump on a live here and hold on. Let me clear this out here. Ace, you there? Ace. I see the panda bear. I'll wait just a second here. If not, I'll jump to somebody else. Ace.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was.
Okay, man. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Hey, see there?
Okay, hold on. I got too much lag going on. I was cold calling at the same time. That sort of messed me up.
Yeah, it's beautiful,
I'm
man.
good. I'm good, Rick.
What's going on, man? What can I help you out with today?
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me? Ace.
Hold on.
Ace, I'm going to
I
come
got you
back to
now.
you because I hear you, but I don't think you hear
All
me.
right. I got you now. I got you
You
now.
hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. What's going on, man? You cold calling right now?
Yeah, yeah. I was calling while I was watching.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. How's it going?
Uh, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm
Yeah.
actually calling my buyers list at the moment, trying to dispel some of these deals. So that was actually where I was. I had a question. I spoke to you. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago or so about a deal that I had up in Pennsylvania that wasn't really getting any traction from the buyers.
Okay.
So I figured, I took what you said. You were pretty much right. Those areas that are, they're low, very low priced, 20,000 or below. It's like you said, nobody really wants to buy a house there to rent it because the rents don't they don't line up with what they're going to spend on the house. Um,
And
so
that's the challenge. Like honestly, like I get a lot of deals for like under like 30 grand from you guys. And like trust me, I love what you do, but honestly, a lot of those deals you got to find a way to dispose them yourself because it's hard to find buyers for them. There's just the demand gets very low for them. And you'd think it'd be opposite. Houses are so cheap, you think there'd be a million people waiting to buy them. And there's some price points where people like, am I buying a house or a car? It's like
yeah,
some of these houses are cheaper than the cars now. It's like, and typically that indicates it's going to be a challenging area or a property or both. And most people try to avoid that these days. But I don't know. Unless you're in the state of Florida, that's a different story. But there's nothing under 250 grand around here, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. So I mean, on coming off of that. That specific deal, I actually ended up, terminating the contract on it, and just moving on with my life. But I've got another deal, similar. I guess you could say similar area. The population growth of the county is it's steady. It's not decreasing or increasing, but from what I've seen, it's one of those lower end areas where there's a lot of zombie houses, you would say. So
Okay.
I got the seller to actually, he just wanted to get rid of the house. He actually agreed to sell it for me just for us covering the closing cost. So
Wow.
you're really all in at $0 on there. But I'm trying to see if this is something that a buyer would even take because the property is pretty much a tear down. You're pretty much buying the lot. Like, there's nothing left there.
So have you closed on it yet?
No.
Yeah, you're smart. Because sometimes it's not even worth the closing fees. Like, listen, every now and then like we're in a weird market right now, but you never know. There's always a buyer for something, and you just got to take a shot at it sometimes. So long as you're not laying out money and you got terms to get out of it, then you know what your time's worth. So you got to make a decision. But if you constantly find yourself doing these types of properties, sometimes you got to refocus the compass and find sometimes just better areas. Because here's what I found out in my career early is when I stayed at the very low. I used to listen, in Florida, I used to have really rough neighborhoods. I would buy duplexes between 10 and 25,000. But I gotta be honest with you, I never worked so hard in my life. It was brutal, dude. I had to get in a car every other day, drive 15, 20 miles each way. And then I got my back window broken in. Somebody threw a brick or a rock through it. I still don't know what it is. Scared the hell out of me. And I've had countless other things happen to me. And I was like, at the end of the day, do I really want to do it? Like, I didn't get in this business to be like chased down the street, mugged, in fear for my life. I used to have rental properties, these things. I gave up. Like I just couldn't, like all the rents were in cash. And so you had to get in your car and go drive it. And somebody always had a story. And the day I decided to leave those neighborhoods, I made a lot of money. But I would make $3,000 to $10,000, but like it was hard. I mean, it was I'm kidding you. One property, I'd have to make 70 phone calls. So it
Oh,
was just exhausting. And when I stepped up to better properties, I found they were in higher demand. They were harder to get, but it was a much easier transaction. And here's the rule of thumb in wholesaling. If you do the hard work up front, it gets much easier. But we're now in a society in wholesaling, and mostly coaches and gurus are teaching you guys this. They're going to give you the easy button, like, oh, it's so easy to go on MLS, and here's the agent's phone number, here's their ask price, here's pictures of the property, and then it sounds perfect, right? You don't have to skip trace, you don't have to spend a dime, and then you guys spend 3 months and you don't get one deal, and you find out it's brutally hard on the back end. You can't assign the contract. They all want retail. It takes them 6 months to even consider a price reduction. And for that reason, so if you're having problems, and like, take a stab at some of the cheap stuff, but if it's not sticking and it's driving you nuts, I would move on to other areas. But you're gonna have to make that decision on your own.
I was gonna ask. So I noticed that you guys don't have anything as far as like the Pittsburgh area for Pennsylvania in on some my paper. You guys have the Philly area, but how far out of those major cities do you think is really, because this area I'm talking about now, it's about half an hour outside of Pittsburgh, and like I said, the population growth is steady. It's not anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask, as far as how far outside of a major city, or how many leads do you think that somebody should be pulling in a
Well,
certain area?
so there's a couple things. So when you're in a major city, eventually people get fed up with the growth and the prices, and they start to sprawl out, right?
Hmm.
Part of your job is to try to like, so if you know the area, you're from there, or like you know that's whereabouts, maybe you grew up there, you kind of know which people way are heading. They're heading north, south, east, or west. And that's how people get out in front of like markets. That's typically what most investors want to do. You got to do a somewhat of guessing on like, where's the growth going? And if I start now, fair. But remember, in wholesaling, it doesn't really matter because you're making money today. The second one is you just got to look at hard population numbers and make a decision. And here's my rule of thumb. I'm always looking for areas that like are 100,000 plus. Why? Because it's so easy to get cash buyers there. My minimum criteria, if you're asking me, I wouldn't invest in an area that didn't have at least close to 50,000. So if you have like a 20,000 population, I just don't think it's going to work unless you really know something, unless you have an incredible network in that town and you know everybody. But even then, because you got to pull people from the outside to buy. A lot of the people that buy from me in Florida, half of them aren't even from Florida. It's crazy. And what we're getting, eventually it's going to stop because they're going to get priced out, but they still think Florida's cheap. Why? I have no clue. I mean, we're 550,000 for your average house here. That's like, that's not much of a house. I'm going to be honest with you. So it's, look at the population. And if you're going to take a risk, maybe like 40 to 50. But if it's 20, like, go to another market. Because I've never made them stick. As far as I like to sell my paper, you guys got to understand it's twofold. Number one, we look for areas where it's easier to move properties. I'm not going to lie to you, because all real estate's local. Like, there's no way you can't do it without local help. Anyone who says they can do it without local help, they get killed 100% of the time. So we go find people that we've either done business with or people that we trust and we've done business with, and then we find them in successful markets. It takes time, guys. It takes a lot of time and a lot of development of networking and relationships. And if we're not in your market, there's a reason for it. It's number one, we haven't found the right person that we trust that'll help you out. Or number two, the population's just not there and we can't make it work. Or it could be a combination of both of them. So does that help answer your question somewhat?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I think that's really what I've been struggling with the last few weeks, is more so just targeting the right area. I mean, I saw the show you guys did a few days ago with the looking at the top zip codes with the
Uh-huh.
population growth and the crime rate, and I started using that to kind of pinpoint little better locations. I think it's helped me out. I mean, I won't really know until another week or two once we start really dialing on these lists. But we'll see. I mean, I can tell, off of the first maybe 20 minutes of calling that new list that I pulled
Mm-hmm.
after watching that video, the responses were a lot different as
Yeah.
opposed to the previous list I was calling. There were, even if they weren't, let's say, qualified, there were people at least giving me, hey, yeah, I would be interested in selling, or I thought about it, and before it was just, stop calling me.
Yeah. And listen, you're never going to get the perfect list. So just like rip through them. You either get a deal or you get a lesson, or sometimes you get both. And that's how I look at it. And we still have issues. Like, I want you guys know I'm human, and like, we make mistakes all the time on our stuff. And it's Like we just get through it. And when we screw up, we move on. Ready for this? I once did a mailer and I put the wrong phone number on it for 25,000 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to talk about like painful? I mean, my employees reminded me every day. Why? Because we got in a rush and someone's job was to check and proof it and we didn't do it. And someone thought they were going to get fired. They didn't get fired. Like we changed how we operated, and sometimes we just go like faster than we need to. And so just get through it, and you learn. And so I always tell people after 2 years, you tend to find your groove in wholesaling because that's basically part of you getting your 10,000 hours learning. So like a pilot, they say you got to have 10,000 hours to even understand it. Like everything, if you want to be really good at it, it's 10,000 hours. You just got to decide if you're going to put the time into it, because people who put 500 or 100 hours in the wholesaling, they go, man, I suck at this. I'm not good. I go, you just haven't done the time yet. And like, I enjoy it. Let me tell you, I enjoyed my wholesale journey. It was horrifying. Like I was scared to death, but here's the key, guys. I just kept moving forward. I didn't stop. I wanted to quit so many times. I'm like, there's got to be easier ways, and maybe I'll go back to my old job. Maybe they kept it for me. I used to say that all the time. I had like wild dreams about, and like, listen, you can always go back to what you did before. There's safety there, but there's not freedom. You're not going to get safety and freedom in the same sentence. You can't go to a 9-to-5 job and expect to build wealth and have financial freedom. And I'm not saying it's impossible for the select few, but for the most part, it's just a Pandora's box. It's a big trap. Guys, I tried it, man. It sucks. I don't care what you say. If you love what you do it. But I'm just telling you, if you're miserable, find a way out and get out, period.
So just one quick last question. For the property that I have under contract right now, that they agreed to sell it for the cost of the closing. Now, I mean, if you look at it, you'll see it's pretty much a shell. It's got to be knocked down, in my opinion. But how would you go about marketing that to a buyer? Would you tell them, "Hey, this is a tear down," or "This is basically just
Listen,
a lot"?
I'm a big advocate of just telling the truth. It's just easier because so many people in society are trying to spin everything. So if you only have like X amount of time, 30 days or a couple of weeks, you better get to the truth as fast as possible. Otherwise, you're just lip servicing people.
So how do I go without knowing? Because that's another problem I'm having, is not really knowing what it should be priced at. Because there's a house that's sold, a few blocks away. It's like a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. It's in decent shape. It's sold for $2,000. So I'm thinking, how much is this thing really going to be worth?
These are numbers I have a hard time wrapping my head around, but
yeah, me too.
You just kind of have to throw it out there. So it's such a small number. I don't know. Start it. I don't know. So what do you got it under contract for? Is that the one just for closing costs?
Yeah. So on the contract, I didn't know what to put.
So how much are the closing costs?
I mean,
1,500, 1,000.
I figured it'd be something like that, and we would find out once we get title, in place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I only put it on the contract.
Honestly, I would leave that as make me an offer, because you really got nothing to lose.
Right.
Make me an offer. Somebody offers you $3-5 grand, dynamite. And if not, if no one makes you an offer, then that's all you need to know. Someone always makes an offer on something, and if they don't make an offer, it's because it's not even close to what they want. So that cheap, once it gets under 10 grand, I'd say just make me an offer. Because if you put a price on, they're just going to beat you up on that one more. So maybe they think it's cheap and you work on it. But I would gravitate towards areas where you have a little bit more potential. It's just my opinion, but take it for what it's worth.
All right. Appreciate it, Rick.
I want to get you up to like that 20-30 grand. It's going to be hard to do in those price points. So
yeah.
But get back to cold calling, Ace.
All right, Alan.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
Well, yeah. Awap, are you there? You're spinning. I'm going to come back to you. Kai, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
How you doing?
Perfect. I'm good.
What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
Yeah, I just had I had some questions about government lists. I've just been driving around recently, like 3 hours a day this whole week, just driving for dollars. But I was kind of trying to get into government lists just to get some more get some more properties on my list, I guess. And I've been calling all of them, and they've all just been really adamant about saying it's not public information and all that. So
So give me a specific list.
yeah, so I called the code violations, water shut off, all of them. They've all been saying that. Well, the only one that I got was probate, but I don't really know how to sift through that information. So that was another question that I had for you.
Okay, so let's start with the probate. So I assume you're doing this all virtually?
No, it's actually in my hometown, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Awesome. So the easiest way, in my opinion, to do probates, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. So like, I'm not a big fan of preaching. I just tell you how I did it, and
Yeah.
copy me if you want. Get in your car, get in your bike, whatever, and go down to the probate court and ask for help. It will save you so much time because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. I'm just a guy trying to understand the probate list. And if they ask, why do you want to know this information? Say, listen, I just want to be educated on how probates work so I can get an understanding of how I can find people with real estate and see if I can help them out. It's just the truth. The faster you are with the truth, you know what, guys, when you tell the truth, you don't have to make up a lie about it.
Yeah.
And it's just easier. And by the way, that's a life lesson. That's like a Rickism. It's just easier because to me, it doesn't matter in life. If you constantly don't tell the truth, then you have to keep tabs of all the lies you tell, and eventually you're going to get caught. So it's just easier to come clean and up front and go, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I want to do. Now, the easiest way is to go to the probate court because you have over 3,500 counties in the United States. And for me to give instructions on every county, I'd be doing this probably for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Nonstop talk. And so I stopped telling people how to do it. I have generalities in states, but number one. Number two, pass the probate court is before you go in there, look up your probate statutes. They should be very public record, and it'll tell you how a probate works. And they kind of break it down to layman's terms, which is what you and me need.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to understand the legal process. I just want to find out who's in probate and how do I find the PR or the executor. That's all you need to know for probate marketing. That is it. Go with the probate court. I'm telling you, they navigated me whenever we got stuck. That's what we did. And if you do it in person, it's much more effective. And then read up for your online statutes and it'll explain it.
Yeah.
As far as like code violations, which I absolutely love, did you go in person or did you get them on the phone?
For which one?
I think you said code violations.
Yeah, those have been on the phone. They've all been on the phone.
So you're almost a guaranteed no on the phone. I'm just going to tell you. An email, you won't even get it opened 9 times out of 10. On the phone, maybe a 20% probability. It's just the truth. And when you go in person, people hate to reject you. It's just the truth. And honestly, you got 2 issues. First of all, code violations. Did they tell you it's not public record?
Yeah.
So who compiles the code violation list? What department?
The municipal, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And who pays for that department?
People.
Taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically telling me I have no representation as a taxpayer paying for this department.
Right.
And you got to like be nice about it and not like rub it in their face. Go, I don't understand. Like if we pay for it as taxpayers, wouldn't this information be shared with us? It's a list. Now, most people mix up privacy and public information. So the problem is, by the way, code violations is 100% public information. You go to court and argue this all you want. It's not going to do you any good to argue that there. What you're trying to get around is the privacy policy. So the privacy policy, I can't give you this information because of this, or my boss said. And what you have to do is try to sweet talk people, use your charm, use your rapport building skills and your conversational, and try to talk them on how can I navigate around your privacy policy so I can get this information. I'm a concerned tax-paying citizen, and I'm trying to identify areas that need more help or not, so I can decide which areas I want to move to and not. They really can't deny that information from you. The reality is it's technically public. They'll deny that all day long, but the problem is you're trying to navigate around privacy. And privacy is where So a privacy policy is when like a company has an internal document says, we're not going to share emails because. Now keep in mind, a private company can do anything they want. But when it becomes a public municipality, a courthouse, anything like that, if taxpayers fund it, you really have access to that information. The problem is they've gotten hip to everybody pulling these lists and stuff, and they're trying to scare people away that really shouldn't be getting the list. So what do? They're going to give you objections. And on average, if you can overcome 2 objections, like conversational wise, people will tend to give you what you want. It's not a guarantee, but I'm here to tell you, this is how we deal with water shutoff, fire damage, code violations, probates. Did you name it? Go down the list. To overcome resistance, you got to beat it with persistence, and there's no acceptance there. Now, if you can go in person, so much better. But the phone's kind of a pain in the butt until you establish a relationship with people. And that's how it works. You are trying to navigate around a privacy policy. And if you understand that, do you know the only person that gets you around a privacy policy, right?
Who's that?
It's that person behind the desk.
Yeah.
And the only way is you're going to have to win her or him over.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's like, hey, listen, your kids look lovely. Did they go to the Pine Middle School? And like, oh yeah. Oh, my kid plays soccer there. It's like, oh yeah. And then once you can break down that wall, you got a shot. But I'm just telling you, like on the phone, it's a hard no because they want to scare everybody off. The latest thing we've had code violations in our area, because I have one girl that gets them all for me, is they say, what do they say? Oh, you have to meet with the city attorney. She said 90% of the people, when they hear that, they just walk away. They're scared to death. We met with him. It's not, and the guy was like super nice. He goes, I just want to know what you're doing with the information. And we just say, listen, we want to gather information to find out which areas are having problems, which ones are the better, so we can make decisions of where we're going to navigate our future purchases. That's it. And he didn't care. He just wanted to make sure we're not. Yeah, and like the other big things you got to understand is there's a lot of people collecting this data and they're selling it to people like you and me, and they really want to squash that 100%. So the minute someone says you got to meet with an attorney, they're going to run to the hills. So, and remember, you're never going to be guaranteed to get all the lists. I've never said you're going to get 100%. So if you chase 4 or 5 lists and you get half of them, knock yourself out of the park, and then regroup and figure out how you can attack those other lists, because the way you did it the first time didn't work. So you got to reapproach it. It's like if you're playing football and you keep giving the ball to the fullback and he gets nowhere, eventually you have to go to the receiver over the top. You're going to have to try to do something a little bit different because it's not working. Another employee, I've always told you guys this little trick is I used to go and I get stonewalled typically with the ladies. And then I would convince my wife and bribe her, and then she would go get it. She goes, here's all the information you want. I'm like, oh my God. So guys, like sometimes like you've got to fight fire with fire. You got to switch it up. Sometimes ladies gel better than men. Sometimes men hit each other in the head. You send a lady in, different things happen. Now, I'm not telling you all to go out and recruit like the women in your family to do it, but I'm just giving you options so you understand. Wholesaling comes down to like, how bad do you really want it if you want to get that list? If you want it bad enough, you'll eventually find a way to get it. Or you'll come close to dying trying to get it. And I don't want anyone to die doing this, but I'm just telling you, if you're going to go in and ask yes or no questions, you're going to struggle in wholesaling. You have to be willing to think outside the box and really push the limits on anything you do. And that's how I've done everything in wholesaling. And that's why I always have tons of deals to deal with in wholesaling.
Perfect.
They got it? Giving you some ideas there?
Yeah, because that's the main thing that they've been saying. They've just been saying, yeah, this is personal information. You know, it's private. We don't give that out. And that's that main objection that I've been getting. So
yeah, but you just got to go, hey, listen, I'm just curious. Like but I can tell you, it's a different conversation in person as far as on the phone. Email's a waste of time. And if you ever have to go to an apartment, they go, listen, they go, Kai, just go and have a seat over there. Don't do it. Make sure you sit within the line of sight, whoever sat you down, because like you'll sit there for hours.
Okay.
And there's something about it. You ever had somebody stare at you for like, if you've ever done a job and somebody was waiting. So I used to do rental cars a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the smart ones would sit there and stare at me the entire time. And guess what? I cut those people at the front of the line every time because I got tired of them like eyeballing me.
Yeah.
Just nicely. Like, Now, if you go in a waiting room, you will completely forget about them, and they probably never get a car. Same thing happens in the code violation list and all the other places. So, just the little tricks you have to do, because if everybody wants that list, you got to find a way to get the person that, like, if 90% of the people get said no, like, how am I going to be the exception to the rule? And you're going to have to do something exceptional as opposed to what everybody else does.
Right.
Welcome to wholesaling, man. Like, you want a
Yeah.
different lifestyle, you got to do a different result than what everybody else does.
Yeah.
You got
And
the
then-
power to do it. You just got to go out and do it. Okay.
Perfect. And then I had a question about the probate. So, what's the name of the person who's inheriting the property? Because they said,
Kai, you there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Now go ahead. You cut out there. Say it again.
Yeah, it just, so who's the person who's inheriting the property? Is it the petitioner? Because that's who they said will be on the list. What's the name?
So a probate breaks down to three people past, obviously, the deceased person. Okay.
Yeah.
So number one's the petitioner. That's the person who basically, typically they hire a lawyer and they petition the court to become the PR or the executor. Now, 9 times out of 10, the petitioner is the PR, the executor, because they're the responsible person in the family that wants to move forward and wind up the deceased's final financial affairs.
Yeah.
Because a deceased person cannot transfer a deed or any type of title with authority. The other one, as we said, is the executor or the personal representative. This is the person that's typically the petitioner on most parts, but there's some exceptions. And they're the person that's designated in the will as the responsible party to finish out the deceased's last will and testament. They are usually the responsible person in the family, and that's the person that they trust the most. And therefore, that's the person you put your most energy for. The people that inherit the property is going to be what they basically call the beneficiaries when it's all said and done. Now, for the longest time, I used to chase them down. It's literally a waste of your time. I got 4 years of data. It doesn't work. You just get a lot of drama. And in the end, you always have to go back to the executor or the PR, because they're the one that has the legal authority to sell the property. And then what they do is they talk to all the beneficiaries to make sure they're in agreement. But sometimes the PR just makes a decision on behalf of the beneficiaries because they can't come with a uniform decision, and they're basically like the leader of the family. Like, okay, we made a decision and we're moving forward, and they have the ability to kind of override the beneficiaries even if they don't agree. I've seen it happen before. That's it. So focus on the PR or the executor, and 9 times out of 10 they are the petitioner.
Okay. So PR and executor, is that just different names for the same
Yeah,
thing?
it's same thing. It depends on what state you're in.
Yeah.
So PR is personal representative, executive. It's the same thing. And the executor is someone that would execute the final last wishes of the deceased person. And the personal representative, same thing. It's like a personal representative of the deceased person. That's it.
Okay. And you think it'll be okay if I just skip trace the petitioner name? Because that's all it says that they're giving on the file.
You can, but once again, I would go down to the probate court and ask that detailed question, because every county is a little bit different, and ask them. And here's how I would exactly ask it. On a percentage, on what percentage is the petitioner usually the PR, the executor? 90. You have to throw them the numbers; they'll never get it to you, and they'll usually agree. Like 90%, yeah, okay. 90%, like, I'm comfortable with you chasing that. If it's 50-50, we're gonna have to figure this out. You know, I don't like 80 is about as low as I go. If like they're 80% sure, then why not? You'll have a 20% error. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a list.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
But
I appreciate
think
it.
about it. Like, who's going to take the responsibility to file the courts? In my state, most of the states I deal with, the petitioner winds up being the PR.
Right.
Make sense?
Yep. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. Get it.
All right. We'll do. Bye.
Okay, see him. I can talk probate all day. So, Kaylin, I see your comment about the website. So, guys, just so you know, these online websites, the one and done for you. Number one, I'm here to tell you, unless you do a PPC campaign or unless you do like big time social media and you do SEOs and stuff, do not waste your money on websites. They're just, because they're all going to be $60 to $100 a month, and I'm just telling you, it. So here's the problem: is these sites, they're all cookie cut for you. Everybody has the exact same site. You do not stick out from anyone. And honestly, today there are companies you can go and just make a landing page for just about free. That's all you need. You don't need all the. They all tell you, CEO, we've optimized everything perfect. To crock. If I was going to do that, I'd rather you go get a YouTube channel, make a simple name, and tell everyone this is where you're at, and then just record helpful videos just like me and Zach do. And the idea is like, hey, I buy houses in the Pittsburgh area. I specialize in probate, and just go through, hey, here's some of the things that we come across that maybe I can help you out with. If you do that, you'll get 1,000% more traction. The one and done sites for you, I don't even know why people even market them. They're just a waste of money. They don't work. So by the way, those sites they use for wholesalers are the exact same ones they use for real estate agents. And the time's over for them. And with AI coming and stuff, websites are going to be very, very old, and they're going to be very outdated. I would not invest a dime in them. If I was you, I would do a YouTube, and I would post like 50 videos and just say, I buy houses for cash in this area. Why? Because video trumps anything else. Video, 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 video. And if you could go just create a simple YouTube channel or even a Facebook page, to me, it's much more effective than you're ever going to get on a website. In my opinion, websites are dead unless you have a major brand name. And I think most of these people are just taking everybody's money. So, Kaylin, you kind of know where I stand on that one. Guys, these one and done sites, I just, like, do people do websites anymore? Like, honestly, a YouTube page is even more effective in my opinion. And by the way, between the comments and then people can message you through YouTube, you guys do it all the time with me and Zach. It's very effective. So a long time ago, I did a probate page, and then I posted helpful probate videos. I had to take them down for other reasons. But I will tell you, I got leads from it. And I became the authority in my area on probates because I'm the only person that posted how to find a probate lawyer in the Miami, Florida area. And nobody posts that stuff. And if you do it, it gets some traction and you can post it. And if people ask you, hey, how do you do with probates? You can just put the links in there. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, if you think there's one company that does major SEO just for wholesalers and you're going to get it for $60 a month, you're being mass marketed. So don't do it, man. I'm just my suggestion. And I don't know, I know of the company and I don't have any problems with them. Actually, I know the owner. He's a great guy. I'm just telling you, there's just, to me, the technology coming now is insane. And you would do better just with social media tools. So Facebook and YouTube is phenomenal because people see your face and you can put keywords in there. And there's no way they can do that for you because you'll have to upload and plug your own videos in. So you might as well do it. And by the way, you can get free landing pages. You can use all sorts. Just search it. I'm not like an expert on this stuff. But by the way, we have rental property all the time and we create landing pages. I don't even know how the guy does it. He says it costs us very little to no money. And by the way, a landing page is when people just fill out your information. And if you want to get a free one, go over to Podio. I believe for the basic user version for $10 a month, $12, you get like 5 free landing pages with it. So you can customize that form. You can use Woofu form, and there's a million other ones of them. But I just stopped the website. I didn't realize we were paying $79 a month for it. We didn't use it in like 2.5 years. We just found it. Thank God my accountant found it. So, but the Podio form, and then the leads come in your Podio, and you get an email and a text when it comes in. So I just think there's so many apps out there and stuff that's going on that like a website seems very old school to me. It works for major brands, but like for the most part, I don't think it works on the other stuff on that. So Chat GPT, love that stuff. Man, I tell you guys, have been on Chat GPT, you are missing out. I love that stuff. So, okay, guys, I'm open. If you guys want to hop on a one-on-one, I guarantee I'll talk to you. Monday nights, it's a little bit different. So, we got to have questions. We got to do something. D Rose, just to let you know, if you post in our group and you don't provide value, like a quality question, or you try to sell something, or you try to DM or back someone, your post just won't get approved. Here's the problem. When you guys try to sell your properties and everything, if you don't offer all the information, stuff like that, the problem is we become a for sale website, Facebook group, and no one's going to get any content or information. And I promise you, the people that we have run our sites, Zach, like, babysits them like crazy. And we have very, very strict rules. The amount of spam we get, almost 85% of the stuff posted is spam or like nonsense information. If me and Zach let it all go through, you guys would never participate in our Facebook group. So guys, there's 95,000 people in there. Do the math on it. So if you put something in there, it gets approved, you need to take accountability for what you're putting in there and ask yourself, does this make sense? And is this a value to the group, or is it just value to me? And if you answer that question correctly, you'll know why. You'll know why that gets put up there. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Remember, guys, you're not paying me, so I'm just going to tell you the truth, and that's how we do it. So, Kaylin, you there?
Yeah. Hey, Rick, can you hear me?
Good. Did I answer your question okay?
Yeah, you're awesome.
Yeah,
man.
don't use company names, because honestly, I have no beef with that company.
Yeah.
I know the owner personally is great, but I'm just giving you my opinion. So it's we all at one time. Here's the deal: is they know that every investor at some time will pay about 9 to 14 months of that fee until they figure out like they can just do it on their own.
Right.
And so if you do that, that's $600 to $900 out of your pocket. And honestly, I'd rather you spend that money doing some other form of marketing, because I just the problem is a cookie cut site, guys. If everybody does the exact same thing, how are you differentiating yourself? And I can tell right off the bat when somebody gives me their cookie cut site, like it doesn't work. It's like, so the YouTube was one of the biggest secrets I ever found out. And remember, when you do like a YouTube, if you want to do it specifically for wholesaling, find your niche. And then if you're doing like probates, teach people how to find a probate lawyer in your area.
Right.
That's
That
it.
was great.
And if you do it that way, so as I buy houses and probate, nobody cares. But if you go, but a lot of people search, how do I get a probate lawyer in this area? And remember, YouTube is a dominant rank, and it's a video. It tends to jump in the top, and you don't have to pay an SEO guy or gal to help you out with it.
Right.
But I tell you, with AI and stuff, boy, websites seem antiquated now. It's like, why do I have to put in all that information? So everything's going to chat bots and stuff like that. But remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's going to be you, us, the humans, that have to help people with the real estate problems. AI is just a tool to help you gather data and find leads. And I saw somebody the other day. Of course, they had a free webinar at the end. It was $29.97. They were going to show how AI was going to do your entire process, and they guaranteed you would be very happy within 30 days. And I'm just telling you guys, if you guys buy into that crap, it's your own fault, because that's nuts. Now, if you can show me AI that'll help me scrape lists and organize, I'm all in. But like, you have to talk to your customers at the end of the day.
Right.
And do you guys know that in the next 6 months, you're not going to know if you're talking to a robot or an actual human being when you deal with like these big conglomerate corporations? That the software is so sophisticated, it's mind-blowing. I've seen this stuff. It, like, I was bothered by it. So when you call and like bitch about your cable bill or like something, you are going to be really annoyed. If you thought waiting for the teleprompter on listening to that computer robot voice, now you're not going to know the difference. So when you get in an argument with someone, you're literally arguing with a computer.
Wasting your time.
I'm telling you, man, like, it's scary. I told my wife, you better be careful you call in customer service, because it's coming. And why? They can cut cost. And remember, the technology learns more and more on how the human language works, and they're just going to toy with you. And keep in mind, these machines are much smarter than you and me, because it's thousands it's millions of data points all put together, and they after a while they figure out patterns in humans and they know how to identify you. It's crazy.
That's scary.
So what else going on, man?
Yeah, so for one, I appreciate your time. And so I just got this property. It's actually the most messed up property I've gotten under contract.
Oh, let's hear about it. I'd love to hear that stuff.
Yeah, so it was fire damage, but look, so there wasn't actually a fire. It was just like smoldering wires in the attic. And the fire department, they put a hole in the roof, and the hole's been open in the roof for the last couple of months. And I'm in Wisconsin, so we have winter.
Oh,
And
wow.
rain and all that stuff. So on the inside of the house, like the paint's coming down off to the walls. I'm guessing it's a full gut. I got it under contract for like 3,500, but I'm just kind of curious if I'll even be able to sell it based on the area. Like a house around the corner went for like 120, but like it's like no roof. Well, the roof's it's like a roof, but it's like a hole in the roof.
Well, listen, a hole in the roof's not that big of a deal. Like I've put holes in roofs for solar panels, for piping. I mean, it's nice if somebody does it all in one, in a couple days.
Right.
But when you leave the hole exposed, but remember, a roof's nothing more than basically plywood, some underlayment, and basically shingles or aluminum or tile. That's it. It's not as like the truss. So the main thing on the roof is if the truss is okay. When the trusses become problematic, then it's a nightmare.
Right. Is that when it starts sloping? It's kind of sloping.
So the trusses are basically build the structure of the roof. And if the fire compromises the trusses, you got to basically either reinforce them, replace them, or there's a certain percentage they just got to redo the trusses. And that's when all hell breaks loose on a fire damage property. Now, I'm not a fire damage expert, but I'm just telling you, the problem is when they put that hole there, if someone doesn't cover it up in a timely manner, then the elements get in the property and it gets 10 times worse.
Right. And that's,
but I assume they cut a hole in the roof to try to vent it to mitigate the fire damage.
I'm not sure, but I'm guessing. Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to tell you on that. You just got to throw it out there and see what someone will buy it for. So if there's a market, so if you look at this to figure out what the land value is, and if somebody had to demo it, you could at least reverse engineer the pricing. But you said the paint's peeling off the wall.
Yeah, so they're definitely gonna have to, because I guess just even from the elements, but the fire department, they went in there and they sprayed the water in there, and it got down into the floors and the walls, and I almost didn't put it under contract because I don't want to disappoint the seller, and also just don't waste my time.
Well, you got to find someone that specializes in buying those properties in your area. That's all you got to do. You got to reach out to everybody. It's not going to be your average buyer. So you have to be careful how you market the property. So fire damage property, rehabbers, come and get it. First come, first serve. Put an aggressive price on there, but do not hire the fire damage. Just be brutally honest.
Right.
And then you kind of do some math in your head. I don't know if you've estimated what you think the repairs are going to be for that.
I think like 70, 80K.
So do the math and just
ARV is like 120 though. That's why
I know, but they've got to be able to make a profit. So it's got to make financial sense to them. So you're going to have to work hard and fast to find someone, because if you don't get someone in the next week or two,
right.
Sometimes they just don't work out. Sometimes the damage is just too bad. You try everything you can. But honestly, you just need to get an offer, because even if you had to lower it $1,000 or $2 to even try to make $1 or $2, you might as well give it a shot, because what's the seller going to do? The seller's going to have the exact same problem you do.
Right.
And if you go, listen, there's no market for it. Like, what are we going to, like, I don't know. Sometimes the cost of everything's gotten so weird. Like the numbers have changed so violently, but that's how fire damage goes. Sometimes they're just too bad. But I told you that fire damage properties are the #1 properties we renegotiate the most.
Okay.
Because there's so many unexpected stuff that you can't control. Right. But honestly, there's not much more to go down in it. Like, so you just got to find out and see what someone's willing to pay for it.
You don't know why I'm really scared is because I said, I was like, okay, I think we're gonna be able to do $5,000 on the property. She's like, I'll give it to you for 3,500.
Yeah. So and you know what? You might have to go back to her and say it's 1,000.
Right.
So that part is easy. You have to just go find and see what someone's willing to pay for it.
Right.
And honestly, I would go the same thing I told you, make me an offer.
I'll almost let it go for free.
Well, make me an offer. And the
Right.
idea is it's got to be above $3,500. That's all you
Right.
need.
Right.
So you got to go hard and fast. And after like 2 weeks, it's like, okay, I scoured. But keep in mind, they're not your regular cash buyers because a lot of cash buyers are scared of really bad burnt properties. Because
Mhm.
so just provide as much data as you can on it.
It's not even necessarily burnt, Rick. It's like like I said, it
It's-
wasn't an actual fire. It was a smoldering. It's just wet
Yeah.
everywhere in there now.
Someone will buy it. You just got to go out and find that buyer. So I would do real estate agents.
Mhm.
I would post everywhere you can. But remember, you're selling the contract, so you have to be careful how you do it.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you two talk about that.
No, it is like because you attract unwanted attention to like people like that. You got to find someone that's buyer that's bought other fire damage property. That's your buyer. How you find that person? Title companies, real estate agents, investor clubs, stuff like that. Find someone. There's always a buyer for everything, guy. You just got to get the price has got to be right. At 3,500, you got really nothing to lose. And worst case scenario, if somebody offered you two, go
Right.
back and tell them, listen, I'll give you 1,500 and just move on with your life.
And that's what I'm gonna do.
That's it. So like now you know why we always go for the no first.
Right.
You go, God. So you offered 5, and they're like, no, I'll give it to you for 3,500, right?
Right. That worries me. I don't know
Oh
if
man, so that's why you always go for the no, because I can't tell you how many times
I thought I
you do
was
it
going
enough.
for
After a
no,
while,
Rick.
people
I thought
put their hand out and they go, I'll take it. I go,
Oh God.
oh my God, I don't know what I've gotten into. And you just feel this pit in your stomach. Like, I think I
Oh
just
man.
overpaid for this.
Yeah.
And you don't have the heart to drop the price down because you feel like you thought you hit them hard. And that was the main reason why I went out and found the Go for No book. Just go for no right off the bat. It
Mhm.
simplifies the wholesaling process. So like,
Right.
especially on that number, just go, listen, what if I give you like $200?
Right.
They go, what are you crazy? I can't take anything less than $1,000. And that's the conversation. If you do the Go for No, you can have that ultimate result. Now it's painful up front,
Mhm.
but it's easier in the end. And remember, in wholesaling, if you have the hard conversations, if you do the difficult digging up front, the rest of it's easy. But what you guys are being told is, I'm going to give you the easy button wholesaling. I'm going to teach you how to go on MLS and get all the properties you ever want for deep. It's all BS because it's easy till you pay them. And then a few months go by and you go, this really doesn't work, and you give up. But you know what they've done? They've sold thousands of courses in
Mhm.
between that time, and nobody ever calls them to the plate on it. So guys, if it's too easy up front, like I told you, I used to play football. When I was a nose tackle, I didn't understand. When I went through the line, I got all excited because I thought like I was going to get the quarterback,
Mhm.
and I'm just running fast as I can. I go, and I have him. And then next thing I know, this 250-pound guy hits me sideways and literally knocked me out with smelling salts. And the coach just then taught me, he goes, listen, when you get in too easy, you need to lean towards the center of the line because it's coming, because you don't have time to even break. Like you have to
Oh my
prepare
gosh.
for
Right.
it. And that's it. So like, understand it, man. Guys, just do the hard part up front and the rest is easy. And guys, if it's too easy up front, you're 9 times out of 10 being tricked. Usually
no.
by a guru or a coach. It's just the truth, because it's easy coaching money. And you guys buy it, you put it on, and then 2 or 3 months go by and you go, whatever, it didn't work. And you never say another word. And then thousands of people make the same mistake. That's the only reason why me and Zach stand up so much, because we know what's going on.
Mhm.
I've listened to these guys preach to me privately, like, this is the easiest money I've ever taken in my life. They take millions doing this, guys, and it doesn't work. So what you're doing is the right way. Just go for the no next time you do it, okay?
Yeah. Always appreciate you, man. You have a nice night, Rick.
Okay, I'll see you, man. DJ, you there? DJ. Okay, I tried. Deb, you there?
Yes, I am.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, man. What's going on?
I hear you talk about probates all the time. And in my area, I did go down there. There's not a list. And it's all by numbers, It's like
Case numbers?
yes. And so it is painstakingly, because it's all of them in there, for guardianship and all of that. And you have to go through it number by number.
What state are you in?
I'm in Tennessee. I'm in
Okay.
Tennessee. Yeah.
So
And
have you? So do you live in Tennessee? Are you doing it locally or
yes,
virtually?
yes, I'm local. No, I'm doing local because I want
Have
to.
you tried to go down to your probate court and talk to somebody?
I went down, to the yes, the courthouse, and that's what they. One of the ladies were nice enough to give me, this is where we, started at for like a couple of weeks back. I was like, give me, 2 months back or number, or she's like, and she gave me the number because I've been down there 3 or 4 times, and other people they just wouldn't give me anything, and so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give up. But that's all I got. And over the weekend, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to go number by number. And
Yeah. So like, here's what I do. Like I'm telling you, and for full disclosure, I used family members to help get what I want. My wife's, she's a former school teacher and she's a little bit better getting information out of people
I
because
heard you say that.
well, she's more patient. Like I know that. Like it's like
Yeah,
I tend to get impatient when people don't give me what I want. And I've learned
yeah,
as I've gotten older over the years and
it doesn't. Yeah,
my kids have grown up, you find all sorts of patience when you get a little bit older. And
yes, yes.
so, but like I probably went there 9 times before I even figured out how it worked. Like, I'm like, I actually gave up twice. I'm like, I can't figure this out. And then that's when I sat down and I created what I call the PPS course. It's an old course I sold out there. I don't own the rights to the course anymore, but it's good information. And I sold it a long time ago, but it's still good. And the guy I sold it to said he'd keep it up and running. But like you guys who complain to me for refunds and stuff like that, for God only knows because it's so cheap. I'm not the
Okay,
guy anymore. But I
okay,
signed an obligation and it's almost done, thank God. And then I
okay,
will redo everything and make it as free as I can to everybody. But
okay,
9 times, guys, till I even put out my first and back then all I did was mail to them. And then years down the road, we decided to cold call and do everything else because my son said you're missing out on opportunities, and he was right. I went 9 times. Now, maybe I'm not the brightest guy and I ain't the brightest candle in the cake, but I figured it out after a while. And they did the
okay,
same thing. I had to deal with dockets, case numbers, and sometimes the reality is they really only want lawyers to see this information. That's just the truth of it. Lawyers and
yes,
judges. And we're neither of the two. And honestly, there are some ways. I had one county where I cut a deal with a title company. Now, title companies have access to some of this information,
okay,
but they typically want an exchange for something like that. So
okay.
I used to pay like $150 a month to get access. I don't know how legal that was, so I'm not going to advise you guys how to do that. But I'm just saying sometimes you got to
Advice,
go.
please.
Well, because like in the state of Florida, they call it the benchmark, and that's the online system that lawyers and judges use it and paralegals.
Okay,
And so sometimes you get frustrated. You go, listen, let me just go find someone who has access to this information and can cut them in.
okay,
That's an option. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I'll get in trouble for it. But find out who gets access to it and go
okay.
find those people. And sometimes it's just paralegals, which aren't really lawyers, but they work for lawyers. They're the people who prepare all the legal
The
documents,
dockets.
and the
Okay.
lawyers just sign it. And honestly, I find I'm going to piss off a lawyer here. I find the paralegals actually brilliant. Like they write a
No
lot of the
more.
stuff
Yeah. Okay.
because they do a lot of the hard work. The lawyers typically argue in court. So,
Okay.
but the paperwork, 80-90% of the law is the paperwork. So if you can
Correct.
find someone like that access and maybe even explain it to you, just don't stop going till you get what you want to get. And that's 9 times I met with lawyers, title companies, and paralegals to get the information I need to get. The problem is we have 3,500 counties, so I'd love to give you more specific information, but just keep digging. How long have you been digging down the probate trail for?
Oh man, it's been like about a year. I
Okay,
go,
well,
I've been down there about 10 times, and then they send me to the guy in the basement where all the
it's
crackers are
It's
stored.
crazy. It's crazy. But guys, like this is like honestly, if it's this tough for you, like you're gonna have very little competition chasing them down if you can ever get access to it. But I
Okay.
wish I could give you more specific information, but it's the truth. It's like I can't be a specialist in 3,500 counties.
Okay. So
And full
when
disclosures, I have counties I can't get them in my own state. It's ridiculous.
okay. So what do I ask the title company or the paralegal?
Ask
How
them. I want to get access to get the petitioner or the PR, the executor, to a probate case. Can you get access to that information? And there's something maybe we can work out together.
Okay.
That's it. So it's and then they go, listen, if I do a deal, I'll bring it to the title company. And then what I'll do is if we close the deal, I'll just pay you the retail rate of that closing to try to make up for your time and money. Or you give them an extra $500. It all depends. Some probates are monstrous. I've had some probates that made little to no money. So they got to flex with you on it. But most of them, some will do it just to give you access, but it is a huge trust thing because they're never going to let you pull the information on your own because they don't want to give you, their username and password.
Correct.
God, that'd be great, wouldn't it? But
yes, but
they would
no,
lose
I
their
totally
licensing.
understand that. I understand.
Or they pay a fee to get access to that system.
Okay.
And just say, listen, if you could help me download it at least like twice a month minimum, I would be forever grateful. And then like whatever I could do, if you're paying $800 for those services, can I give you $200 now? And then give me another quarter and we'll see how it works out. We'll decide if it's worth moving forward with. That's it. Sometimes you just try it.
Okay.
You got to like do unconventional things with these states like this. It's ridiculous because it should be very public information.
But it's not, and I understand because I think some that I saw, a while back, because I tried wholesaling and got frustrated with the gurus and I, quit. And then so I'm back at it. I'm like, no, there are too many people getting checks. I need some of this money. And I did see where they did have some of the personal information up, like their social, but they don't do it now. That's not on there. So I do understand back then, but now it's not on there. Okay, my other question is, I've gone through, your site, and I want to do the probates and I want to do the mailers, but I know they say you need at least 200. So do I need to wait until I get to 200?
Yes. I'm just. Okay. So here's the biggest problem with mailers. So check out the mailingmastery.com. It's a very deep dive in the 20 years of me doing mailers.
Yes.
And you got to understand the logic that goes behind mailing. And if you don't understand it and understand the time frames and the quantities, you're going to fail. 80% of people who do direct mail off the bat, they fail horribly. Why? Because they expect a miracle, and it's not. Mailer is a 3-month commitment. And if you can't do 3 months, don't do it. I'm just telling you because it's so hit or miss.
Yeah, I can do the 3 months. I just got to get enough because right now I'm doing a lot of code violations. So I guess I need to add some more, list on it to get my count up.
Yeah. So so the only thing you do is you can increase your count up to get it because mailing is somewhat of a quantity game, but you've got to understand the whole plan. You got to have a plan with direct mail. It's not random. It's so precise, and it's 3 months because mail is slow. And you don't control when the mail gets delivered. You don't control when people open it. And you don't control when people call you. So there's 3 variables before we've even started. And people are weird, man. Like, I just got a call from a mailer 2.5 years ago. I want to know if I'll still honor they want to know if I'll still honor the price. I said, yes. Because the price has gone up so drastically in Florida. I'm like, I don't even care what the price is on it. I'll just take it. And it's just like, I'm just telling you, there's so many variables. 3 months is the commitment because it's I go through everybody to do it. And so a lot of gurus talk people doing mail because it is easy. It is scalable. I agree 100%. And it's easy if you understand it. And if you don't understand it, it's like getting into a cockpit of a 737 going, well, I know this thing's supposed to take off, but like, how do I do it? When do I push this button? And not nearly as complicated, but in a way it is because you could blow through thousands of dollars and go, well, that sucked. And most people who post like direct mail doesn't work, I heard is dead. They tried it once. And it's usually a guru that talked them into it and they understand it. That's why I preach so hard on like, if you can figure out wholesaling with like little to no money, use direct mailer as your backup. So when you do get money, because once you learn how to talk to people and you understand what a motivated seller, then direct mail gets a lot easier. Then you just have to understand direct mail. But if you have to understand direct mail and how a motivated seller works and how to talk to them, that's so many variables that most people are going to fail doing it.
Okay. And
so go through that mailing mastery and like I'm telling you, I've wrapped up 20 years of like everything
Yeah, I've
I've done
gone
right
through
and
it. I'm
wrong.
going to go back through it again and things like that. It's just like I need to get enough up, and I do, want to stick with it, like you said, 4 to 3 months, because like you said, it's the long game, and
Yeah.
and I get that. I want to do the probates, or can I send the probates? I've only found one, going through the list, going one by one. I've only found one, but I found 2 properties where the owner has died, and the neighbors are upset about it because the properties have gone downhill in
Mhm.
B areas, really nice areas.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's paying the taxes, to reach out to them.
It's weird, but someone's paying the taxes means someone's
Yes.
paying attention. And
Yeah.
but once again, that's kind of like PI work. And some people really enjoy that. Some people hate it. It's up to you. The neighbors are usually the best source of information, in my opinion. But
Okay.
sometimes it's just hard to get any information on it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, every now and then when I really give up, I'll go stick a for sale sign in the yard, and boy, does that phone light up.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now it's tricky. And then when they
Right.
call and light you up, just go, I'm so sorry. I told my sign girl not to put that out there. I'll have
Okay.
somebody come by and pick it up. By the way, are you the owner of the property? And it's just
Wow.
it's what do they call it? It's just reverse marketing. It's just like,
Yes. Yes.
how do I
Getting
get you
them
to call me?
you.
And
Okay.
remember, direct mail is like, how do I get you to call me? Period.
Cool.
Without offering $1,000 per phone call and making and not putting on like an urgent notice. If you don't call me, your house will be taken away. How can I make an honest, ethical offer that intrigues them enough to call me? And in Mailing Mastery, I lay it all out how to do it. So when you get
Yes.
ready to do that, and remember, I want you to play the marathon, but sometimes we have to pick up our mile pace, So if you're running a
Okay.
12-minute mile, let's get it down to 11 and try to keep getting better every month. So listen, we all learn at different paces. I was terrible in school. I
Okay.
was told you're in trouble. You're in trouble, kid.
Okay.
You better figure this out. And so
Okay.
I just learned differently than people, and we're all humans.
Right.
We're all
I
very
think a lot
different.
of people do. Yeah.
Some people have dyslexia. Some people just can't
Right here.
read. Like
I have dyslexia. Yeah.
so it's
Didn't
like an
learn it
example.
till
One of
didn't
my
find
best
out
friends
till I
has
was
dyslexia,
26.
and he's like, Rick, I can't look at a computer like you do. I'm like, why? And he sat down and explained. He goes, let me show you how it kind of looks for me. And he showed me like some stuff. I'm like, wow, I never knew that. Like, I didn't understand it. And before, I'd like, okay, what's dyslexia? I'm like, what, do you have a learning disability? Like, no, I just learned differently than you.
Yeah.
And
learn different.
I had it, and I didn't even understand it. And so I treat everybody who wants to learn wholesaling. I'm like, I don't care how you learn it. As long as you want to get better each day, I'm all here for you. Some people want to do like 2 weeks, knock yourself out. It's hard to do. But I tell you, I don't want people to wait 2 and 3 years either. Like, we all have different things going. Some people are raising like 6 kids at the same time, taking care of elderly parents. We all have different journeys. And honestly, Deb, if people just stop and understand everybody's got something going on, it's not an excuse,
Right.
but like, you and me have stuff going on all the time. Everybody else
Right.
does. And that's why I became a wholesaler. I just wanted to help people. And I was able to help myself out and my family while I did it. So just
Okay.
keep going on your journey. You're going the right way. Just
Okay.
pick up your
And-
mile
and-
pace. Okay.
Okay, yes. One quick question. Do you guys have any videos on this chat GPT?
Yeah, so me and Zach just did one. I believe it's called AI, and we got a 2 or 3 part series getting ready to come out.
Okay.
Because the problem is we're testing some of this stuff so new. I don't like to just throw stuff out there just to create BS content. It's got to work.
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand it.
Oh, everyone's trying to sell you everything. Like, do you ever notice like everyone's just trying to sell the latest, greatest thing? It's ridiculous. So
Yes.
I'm all about AI. If it helps you organize your business and helps you with your leads, it will never close people for you. I'm just telling you, someone's selling a system for $3,000 telling you it's going to revolutionize your wholesaling business.
No, I heard you guys speaking about the text messaging feature, how it helps you write, and I said, oh, that's great. So you don't get the bad words, the words that people.
No, I know. It's amazing. Like, honestly, the biggest impact it's had right off the bat is SMS. I was like, unbelievable. Like,
Okay.
I never knew it could do all this stuff. I was like, because we've done it manually up to this point. We've actually paid people and like we freed up thousands of dollars just with that free service. So, we share it on how we do it on like free wholesaling. So check out the AI video and we're gonna have it come out. But the problem is I don't want to release stuff that doesn't work, and I'm not here to sell you guys garbage because that's what you're getting mostly with AI. Everybody's an AI expert. You ever notice that? And it's only been out like really for the last year. Now everyone's an AI expert.
Okay, so I'm
Good Lord.
waiting on you guys film.
Yeah, but just you got
your
to sort through
video.
it and see what's going to work in your business. Because if you
Okay.
apply a bunch of useless crap because you're buying someone's product, you just it's the shiny object. And
No, I've done that before. I bought
I know we've all done it.
They
I've
just
done it.
want your money, and
That's it.
they
They don't care
yeah.
like what. There's no long term. Like they can't tell you what the long term results. And they usually just signed up and hired a programmer. Go, hey, you can do. Now it's neat. Don't get me wrong, but neat does not pay the bills in wholesaling. I'm sorry. So
No.
don't lose focus, and we'll share with you
Okay.
the stuff that actually works. Okay.
Okay, so it is on freewholesaling.com, the
Yeah.
AI. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out tonight.
Yeah. Just search it under AI.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
All right, thank you so
Awesome,
much.
Deb. Pleasure meeting
All
you.
right.
Bye. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed today's information, make sure you give me a smash that like button and make sure you are subscribed to the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. I release content on here. I don't share it on Flip with Rick. That is a channel that me and my son, we collaborate on our current 7-figure wholesaling business. And you can check us out on Flip with Rick on YouTube. Also, make sure you check out Zach's channel at Zach Ginn. He's on YouTube. And guys, as usual, go to free wholesaling information to get all your information. I appreciate everybody, and we will talk to you guys soon. I appreciate it. Guys, go out there, get started wholesaling real estate. It's easier than you think. You just